Okay, fine. Good morning to all. Let's go through the previous topics whatever we have discussed. We have discussed cloud sensor as a service. So sensor as service we have discussed on, wherein we have discussed about these concepts. In the previous class, we have discussed on importance of sensor cloud, and we have also seen traditional WSN as well as sensor cloud-based implementation of WSN. Okay, so we have also seen the case study. One of the person implementing the agriculture field, then he switch over to the home automation process down the line. So how the sensors are going to be implemented and how the cloud plays a major role in that. Now today we will discuss on architecture of sensor cloud. So what you understand by architecture of sensor cloud? So you can say that this is the entire architecture of the sensor cloud, where the cloud computing architecture, the cloud service provider, we call it as CPS, so CSP, cloud service provider CSP. So and the end user, as we have studied. So before also you have come across the end user, cloud service provider, and all those things. So what the cloud computing architecture will consist of the end user as well as the cloud service provider. So you can see in the figure, you can see that the deployment of nodes here, and here it may be the sensor nodes. So the sensor nodes deployed for measuring any of the sensing parameters. It can be for the surveillance of home, or it can be for deployment of sensors to the agriculture land, whatever it is. It depends on the user. Okay. So you can say that the deployment of sensor nodes, and you'll be having sensor owners for that. So you will be like they will be deploying the entire process and they will be owning the process. Now you need it or not, it is up to you. So if you are in need of that sensing process, you need to pay for them and you need to use that sensing setup. Okay. So you can say that in sensor cloud architecture, sensor owners play very important role, because they collect the information whatever it is required for the user. And you can say that the service provider in the sensor cloud architecture is known as sensor cloud service provider. So you can say that, like for example, one person he deploys entire sensors to that thing field. He is the owner for that. So if once you are using that facilities, you need to pay for it. You need to pay for that whatever facilities you are using, and you need to use those facilities as and when it is required for you. So you can also say that here in this figure, you can see that deployment of sensors, and each sensor setup is owned by one of the sensor owners, and the entire process is connected to the cloud environment. You can see here. So this is the deployment of sensor nodes, and the sensor cloud service provider is being who is monitoring the entire process. So you can see that the deployment is done here, and each sensor owner is responsible for that environment. Once it is done, it is interfaced with the cloud, and you can see the web interface also. And once all these things is established, now you have the end users here. So the end user, whoever is in need of the facilities, whatever it is required for him, either the cloud environment or the sensor facilities, whatever it is in need of for the end user, he is going to pay for it and he is going to use those facilities. Now, for example, we have seen in the last case study that for a particular period of time, he is willing to have the agriculture setup. Then certain period of time he is going with the surveillance process. After certain period of time he will go with the healthcare process. So it depends on the end user. So the end user can go ahead with whatever requirements is there, and he can use all the facilities which is provided by the pay and use method. So pay and use model is what he is going to adopt, and he is going to use the facilities by taking care of sensor owners and taking care of the sensor cloud service providers and all. He is going to use the facilities as and when it is required for him. Okay, so you can see here there are these are some of the actors, like you can say that you have end user. There are three actors present here. One is the end user. End user means who? Who is the end user? The customers or the person who is in need of it. So the end user is one. Then the other one will be, you have seen the figure already. So you have already seen in the figure, you have one of the actor, or you can say that the required people who are of the person who are involved in it. So you have three. First one is the end user. The second one is sensor owner. Means who is owner for the entire environment, whatever it is being established. So the sensor owner, and the third one is what? You can say that the sensor cloud service provider. So the end user, what is his requirement? His requirement may be to monitor the entire means whatever. For example, he is having a agriculture and or anything. His requirement will be to monitor that and utilize those facilities. So if he is going for establishing as and when his need is there, it will cost him a lot. But when he is going with the cloud environment, cloud platform, his cost can be reduced because he is in need of certain things as of today, tomorrow he is not in need of that. So he can make sure that it will gain. Okay. So that is one of the advantage. So we will see with the first one, that is the end user. So what you understand by end users? Customers of the service cloud providers are known as the end user. Means what is my requirement? My requirement may not be your requirement, right? So my requirement also will change according to the time. So my requirement today may not be the requirement tomorrow. So that is one advantage that the cloud sensor cloud services can provide, and with the infrastructure through the web portal, you can configure all the requirements, whatever it is required for you, you can configure it through the web portal, and you have to pay for it, and you have to use those infrastructure facilities what is required for you, choosing the template of the service and service cloud architecture which is required to be registered for you and which is to be used for you. So through this web portal, the end user receives all the services. So you can see that. So you can see that the end user receives all the services, and he can utilize those services as and when he is in need of it. The type of usage and duration of services, all this depends on the user pays the charges for the charges for whom? Cloud service provider. So you are going to provide all the charges for sensor cloud service provider, and when you are When your charges free means you have taken those for 6 months duration. When your limit is over, automatically it will get disconnected. Okay. But you can try using all those things for any of the applications, what all things are required for you. So is that clear for you? So this you can do it as a mini project also by establishing the cloud environment and taking out the cloud facilities and working on those things. You can try those process as well. Okay. Now next one is the sensor honor. So what is the use of a sensor honor? So now you are paying, for example, 1,000 rupees for the cloud service provider. So he will be also associated with many, isn't it? The single person cannot drive entire process, isn't it? So he will be distributing the amount, whatever you are going to give, to the different people. So one of them is sensor honor. Sensor honor or the sensor cloud architecture is based on the sensors as and when it is connected to the required or deployment of sensors and all those things. Deployment of sensors is essential to provide the services to the end user. You can say the sensor honor sensors in the sensor cloud architecture will be owned by and deployed by the sensor honor. For example, let us see that Gautam is there here. What happened from 1 or 2 days exactly. So fine. So one of the person is the XYZ person is a owner. Okay. So owner for the entire cloud environment. So for the sensor cloud infrastructure facilities, whatever it is being established. So you can say that the sensor owner can on multiple heterogeneous or homogeneous sensor nodes as and when it is required for the user. So that is one thing. Sensor nodes are visualized and assigned to the servicing multiple applications and all those things, and the sensor owner receives rent depending upon the duration and usage of the sensor nodes and that infrastructure system. Is that clear for you? So you have end user, you have second one is what? Sensor owner. So what is a sensor owner? See now for example, somebody has deployed the entire sensor sphere to monitor some process. Now that is X person. Now Y person is in need of that. So what he has to do? He has to pay for the sensor owner and use the facilities. And when it is done, he can magnetize over usage from their ends. Isn't it? So that is the sensor owner. What is the third one? Third one is where we are now we have seen the sensor owner. The third one is sensor cloud service provider. So what is the role of the sensor cloud service provider? We have seen the user, end user, sensor cloud, and now we are going to see the sensor cloud service provider. What is the role of that service provider? See, they are responsible for managing the entire sensor cloud infrastructure. Okay. For example, management of sensor owners, then management of end user handling, then what else is there? Resource handling, database management, cloud handling, all the entire process is taken care by that. So the entire module is taken care by the cloud sensor cloud service providers. For example, management of sensor owners, end user handling, resource handling, database management, handling, all these things are taken care by the sensor cloud service provider. Where he will be taking about the end user, whatever money comes to them. So it has to be distributed to the sensor environment. So infrastructure facilities. So that is there. And you can say that what else you can see, receives rent from the end user. Who is going to pay for them? Who is going to pay for them? The end user. So they will receive the rent. Like now you are staying in one place to give rent. Similarly, you are utilizing the facility. You are going to give the rent for for them, and you are going to use it. Okay. So different algorithms will be used in order to manage the entire facility. So whatever facilities are there, you are going to use the different algorithms will be utilized for managing that, and receives rent from the end users, and you what you will be using them for the see the sensor cloud service provider will collect our entire money from the entire money from the end users, and they will distribute it to sensor orders. They distribute for the infrastructure development. They distribute for the entire process, and they make sure that the entire things are being established. So is this clear for you? So what are the three things? End user, sensor owner, and sensor cloud service provider. So we'll see the next one, that is sensor cloud architecture and different from different viewpoints. So how you can see the entire process in different viewpoints. So two viewpoints are there. One is called as the user organizational viewpoint. Another is called as the real architectural viewpoint. For example, see, when you are a user, you will see in a different view the entire process. When you are working in that, you are one of the member of developing it, you are one of the member to manage it, your viewpoint will be different. See, when you are, see, for example, when you go to a hotel, your viewpoint will be different. The hotel owner and the people who are working inside the hotel, their viewpoint will be different. Their viewpoint will be how to serve you. When you go as a customer, your viewpoint will be how the facilities are there, how the food is coming. So similarly here also, when you are a cloud developer, or when you are a cloud, it means you are managing the resources in the cloud, your viewpoint will be different. When you are a customer, your viewpoint will be different. So you can say that user organizational viewpoint. So what is that? The sensor cloud architecture is simple. Means they think that it is very simple, and end users interact with the web interface and templates and services are received based on the requirement of which, like simple example as I have told you, the same point means the way you think, you see is different as a customer. When you are a developer, you see, you think, will be different. So that is what you can see that. So in this architecture, the end user is unaware of the complex process as well as running at the back end. Whatever things are going in the back end, they are not aware of things. Whatever how they are setting up the infrastructure, how they are doing the process, they are not aware of all those things. When you go ahead with the real architectural view, what you can see. So in the real architectural view, you are going to have the complex processing of cloud architecture, visualizing the entire process, and you will also know that sensor allocation, data extraction, then the virtualization of sensors, then maintenance of infrastructure facilities, then data center management, then all these things, whatever it is associated technically for the establishment of the cloud environment. You also will be specific with the which algorithm you have to use, which is the speed you have to take, how to set up the facilities, how to give the best out of best for the users. All those things you will be very careful in the architectural viewpoint. But in the user viewpoint, you are just seeing that how the facilities are there, how best the facilities can be utilized. Okay, so you can see with the figure. So you can see with the figure, you can see using organizational view, you can see registration, login, services, all those things. As a user, what you will see, how to log in, how to use those facilities, how to upgrade your facilities, that's it. But is whether you are getting all the facilities as and when it is required, whether it is user friendly, all those things is what you are going to see. But in the case of real architecture viewpoint, you are going to see the sensor allocation, how to do the sensor allocation. You are going to see the virtualization process, data extraction. Then all this process is what you are going to see in the code level. In the case of architectural view. Okay, so this is the things what we are going to understand. So is that clear for you? So we have seen the cloud implementation, all those things. So what are things? Just to brief you in just 2 minutes, we have seen cloud implementation, wherein cloud simulation. There we have seen cloud sim, cloud analyst, and green cloud. We have seen an open source cloud, that is OpenStack, its process. Then features of OpenStack, then commercial cloud, that is Amazon Web Service, how to use the Amazon Web Service and what are the features of Amazon Web Service. We then moved on to sensor cloud, sensor as a service, where we have seen importance of sensor cloud, and we have also seen what is the traditional WSN and what is the sensor cloud difference. We also have seen a case study where the importance of sensor cloud comes into picture, and then we move on to architecture of sensor platform. So in architecture of sensor platform, we have seen 3 actors, that is end user, then sensor owner, and sensor cloud service provider. We have seen the sensor cloud architecture from different viewpoints. One is user organizational viewpoint, another is real architecture viewpoint. So is that clear for all of you? Okay, fine. Is there any doubt here? Is it clear for all of you? So that's it for today.